Hey guys, how you doing? So I wanted to talk about AI hallucinations. So this is one of the big problems that the AI companies have to deal with. I was reading a couple articles about it, and I heard it from some people I know who actually work with AI and are in the AI business. And the problem that they have is AI can hallucinate answers that are wrong. I've seen it myself where I put some questions to GPT and yeah, sometimes it gets very accurate answers. Sometimes it gets answers that are totally make no sense, total hallucinations. And other times it gives you half right, half wrong answers, which are the worst, right? When you got an answer that's half right, and then you get something, but it's got a key part of the answer that is wrong, that could cause all kinds of problems that you don't want to have to contend with. So that's the problem with AI these days. The systems are very delicate and brittle. Based on my conversations with people I know who own AI businesses, when they're forming narratives, when they're putting together an AI to train it, what he finds, well, one friend of mine who was telling me what they have, one of the problems that they have is that they'll have a narrative which they'll build on a client's database, so they acquire all the knowledge from the client, and then they start building their own narrative with it. And what happens, they'll get one part of the narrative working really well, where the chatbot can answer correctly, give you right answers, but another area, the chatbot, the narrative won't be very good, will be pretty bad. So they work hard to get that other part of the narrative working, and once they get it working, he says more often than not, what used to work now gets broken. So that's a very brittle system, right? When that type of thing happens. So what they have to do now is they have to create, again, from an outsider looking in, I'm a developer, but I'm not an AI guy. From the outside looking in, it's based on my conversations with some people in the game, what they have to do is they have to create more narrow, specific AIs, if you will, very specific use case. So otherwise, if they try to do too much at the same time with the same LLM, it can be very dicey, very difficult to work with. So I'm not saying it's going to be that way forever. Probably not. At one point, we're going to get a general, what do they call it? Artificial general intelligence. At some point, when, I don't know. You have to be careful with any new technology. There's always a hype cycle, and then there's this big lag time between the introduction of the new technology when the hype cycle is realized. Let me give you a couple of examples with the web. I remember back in the day, I was around there when I was a young nerdling, back in the 90s when the web came about. And there was all these promises about what the web would do and how it would transform things. And eventually it did happen, but it took many, many, many years for it to happen, right? Let's talk about another technology, self-driving vehicles. You know, famously, Musk was saying years ago that within 1 year or 2 years, fully autonomous self-driving vehicles were going to be a thing. Well, it's still not a thing. I have a self-driving vehicle, but it is nowhere near being fully autonomous, nor are the Teslas, really. It's going to take a while for that to happen. So this was promised to us, the fully autonomous self-driving vehicle. This was promised to us many, many years ago, right? Like 5, 6 years ago, something like that. Could be longer. I lose track of time. I'm so old now, 169 years old. 5 years is like 5 minutes to me. But anyway, so several years ago, they promised a fully autonomous self-driving vehicle. I think Musk was saying you could buy a Tesla and then you could send your Tesla out to do Uber rides and it would pay for itself. Very good marketing. Elon Musk, pull the politics out of it. One of the things they don't talk about, he's hyper intelligent, clearly, but he's actually a genius marketer. He knows how to position a story, a narrative, to create an expectation by the public. That's one of his genius. That's one of the things he's genius at. Anyway, that aside, back to AI. So AI, we're in the hype cycle now. It is useful if you are a developer, an aspiring developer. You should be looking at it, looking at where AI can help you, whether it be with code completions or implementing AI for companies you may be working for, whether you're a contractor, a freelancer, or you're working for a company. So definitely look into it. I have, in my history as a professional developer, I have leveraged emerging technologies that gave me a big advantage in the marketplace, especially as a freelance developer. One of the things I mentioned, how when I first got into the web, it was back in 1994. I think I got my first paid job in 95, 94, 95. And when I went freelance, full-time freelance in 96, I embraced the page-based paradigm, which was a big shift from the traditional way web apps up to that point had been created. So basically Microsoft Active Server Pages, they invented that whole paradigm, and eventually the whole market adopted that. Anyway, I was one of the first to do it, so I was able to take projects that when they were built the traditional Perl CGI or C CGI way or Java servlets way, I was able to produce a very solid piece of software using the page-based paradigm, which was so much more productive than the traditional method, that I was able to do something in 1/10 the time. So yes, embrace new technology. That's the point I'm trying to make. Embrace new technology. Today it's AI, but it's not a threat to you. It is just something that you have to learn about and learn to integrate it into whatever work you happen to be doing. Again, I don't see AI as a threat. We are in a hype cycle. People are going to overly hype it, as any marketer would do. They're trying to finance this whole thing. But don't worry, AI ain't replacing developers anytime soon. They're just going to shift the type of work we do. To effectively today use ChatGPT as a developer, you have to be a developer. You have to understand the code. You have to have a good understanding of the fundamentals, how to implement it. So ChatGPT is a power tool, but you still have to know how to use the tools. You still need to know how to build. If you're a furniture builder, for example, you still need to know what you're doing as a furniture builder, even if you use power tools versus manual saws and stuff. So embrace the stuff. Don't see it as a threat. See it as an opportunity. Whenever there's a disruption in technology, it opens up a huge, lots of opportunities for people who are willing to embrace it. So jump into it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be talking more about AI and how it will be implemented commercially for work or for freelance, etc. That's my focus. I've always been, since the 90s, a nerd who looks at programming and development as a means to an end. I see them as tool sets more than anything else. All right, cheers. I'm Uncle Steph. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments or questions, any disagreements about anything I'm discussing here on the beach, you let me know. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like my video, give me 2 thumbs down to show how much you hate my content. Anyway, that's it. What did I say? Yeah, I'm Uncle Steph, the world's oldest developer. You can check me out at UncleSteph.com. I mentor people in the ways of code. Code long and profit, my friends.